feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright. Echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Wow, my mic is really hot. Really hot. All right, well, let's turn it. Wait, did we turn it down? There we go. Hopefully that's better. I don't know why it was so high. Good to see you guys. Good to see you all. I hope that show yesterday we did on Samantha Murphy kind of just gave some context about what's going on. I posted it on TikTok. I don't know how many people are going to see it because I don't have a following on TikTok, but I hope the people that do see it, it kind of just sort of gives you a real take about what's going on right now in that particular trial. There's just so many people that are talking like they know what's going on. And I don't think I've seen one person get it right. I don't think I've seen one person get it correct. Not one. Literally not one person online that has the anything about it correct. Nothing. Not the timing, not the dates, not the what's going on internally within it. No one's got it right. So I think hopefully that will settle it for now. People can calm down, and when we get to day 1 of the trial, I'll be there and I'll give you all the information that you could ever want. If you were here last year for Aaron Patterson, you know that I will give you more information than you can handle. I'll literally talk for several hours and give you almost a play-by-play of what happened in court. So we'll give you more information than you can handle about Samantha Murphy when the time comes. Now, I know a lot of people have already gone over this today. It was a big thing. It was all in the media and everyone knows about Kouri Richins today, but I just have a couple of points that I want to talk about because I saw everything that happened today, but I actually have a different view. And the one thing I want to focus on, I want to focus on her children because this was one of the most I've listened to a lot of victim impact statements in court live. I've listened to them. I've seen the people actually read them out in court, and they are always heartbreaking because it just is the nature of what we do in true crime that we're always going to be listening to someone tell the court about how much they miss someone, how much it means to not have them in their life. And that is always going to be something that we have to deal with in true crime, right? We're always going to have to do that. But it was this bit where one of the sons, is it in this one or is it in a different one? Yeah. So her son said, "You took away my dad for no reason other than greed, and you only cared about yourself and your stupid boyfriends." That is the middle son. He described having to be a parent to his younger brother because his mother did not watch over them. And then they're saying Richins made the boy paranoid about sitting on his dad's side of the bed, saying he might die too. The F, like, we heard about some of this abusive allegations in court, right? We've heard some of that bits and pieces throughout it. But to actually hear from them is brutal, absolutely brutal. And you sort of get an insight into how they feel. They obviously miss their dad and they're scared of their mom. And they were scared when she was not in prison. I think that is something that's my big takeaway from it. Not really the sentencing. We already knew that she was most likely going to spend the rest of her natural life inside of a jail cell. That's not the big story to me. The big story is these poor kids, and I hope they grow up into something other than any of this because it is heartbreaking. And then you hear something like, where's the other bit about where they're talking about? Yeah. So apparently, when they wouldn't eat their dinner, Kouri would show them videos of famished children in war zones when they refused to eat undercooked food. Would show them videos of children in like Africa or war zones. What the hell? Who does that to their own children? Who? I don't know who does that to their own children. I mean, it's one thing to say to your kids, like if they won't eat their dinner, you're like, there's kids in Africa who would eat this? Like, I'm sure all of our parents, as racist and sort of gross as a statement that is, I'm sure all our parents have said that to us when we were growing up. But to actually then take it to another level and start showing them videos of children who are famished and don't get food on a regular basis, what an absolute psychopath Kouri Richins is. Andrew says, "What's up with the vile Mormon mums lately? I feel like Utah's only export right now is horrible people in true crime. Have you noticed this? Like over the last 5 years, we just seem to have that's their main export. They're gonna declare to the labor board of the federal government, and they're gonna be like, "What was your number one export in 2025?" They're gonna be like murderous people who are now in jail after going to trial in the Supreme Court. Like, that is literally gonna be their number one export out of Utah, which is a shame. Beautiful, beautiful place. There's a lot of people, that are really nice. I have friends that live in Utah, really lovely people, but you seem to have a segment of the population that keep doing this type of thing. Chipmunk said she'll complain of prison food, hope they tell her the same line. That would be epic. Can we get a prison guard to just show her videos of famished children from, different countries around the world when she says, "I don't like the jail food"? That would be epic. I got $20 on a jail worker doing that at some point. Rachel said, "I have to say her face." Yeah, did you guys see that photo? It's the one I used on the thumbnail. Like, what is this face? Are you trying to make a thumbnail for YouTube? Is that what's going on? Do you have a podcast? Or you got one of those surprised Pikachu type faces? Is that what you're doing? Have you seen it? Like, this is what all the YouTubers do now. They just do this open mouth surprise face at everything. They're like, "My dog took a crap today," and they're like, "Surprise face on the thumbnail." Like every time, I hate it. I can't stand the stupid surprise face thumbnails going around YouTube right now. Yeah, look at that. Like she was shocked at being told, one, you're going to prison for life, as if she's shocked at that. She had to know that was coming. And two, shocked at what her children said in their impact statement. Really? You were there. Do you not remember? You did it to them. Hold on, guys. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, like you did it to them. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you surprised? You're not a YouTuber. Get away from the open mouth surprise face. Hey meme, how are you? Marilyn said fish lips were a thing. I hated that. Did she have her fillers taken out in jail? Maybe another inmate stole her fillers. Maybe. So the other thing from today is automatically, as soon as court was done, her legal team has said that they plan on appealing. And if anyone was surprised by that statement, I have a bridge to sell you. Of course, anyone convicted of murder and then sentenced to life in jail, of course, they're going to go and appeal the verdict. That's just like a automatic thing. There, who goes and gets a murder conviction and goes, yes, yes, I'm just going to accept that. I'm going to accept I'm going to spend the rest of my life in jail and I am not going to appeal. Like everyone who ever is convicted of murder appeals. So that should not be surprising to anyone. Yeah, so here's another photo. Oh, did we put that photo up for you? Yeah, there you go. There's her in her lime green. I thought that was an interesting choice for today. Lime green. She looks like a Lamborghini. Not as expensive as a Lamborghini, nor as fast. She is very slow with those chains on. So yeah, hopefully we never have to hear about Kouri Richins, although an appeal tells me we may have to. Sweet Universe said, I think she's going to say Katie and Clint told the boys to write those statements. I don't think it really matters who wrote the statements or who may have guided the kids. As far as the court is concerned, those statements come from the victim. There is no judgment over those statements. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they were like someone else wrote it, put the boy's name on it, and the boys said, "Yeah, that's fine." It doesn't to the court. It doesn't matter. It's a victim impact statement. It doesn't really have any legal standing. It's supposed to be an expression of the pain and it's supposed to be like what has the offending of Kouri Richins done to these people who are the victims of her crime? There's no legal precedent here. You're not going to squash these statements by any means. So I don't think it really matters, even if they were coached slightly. You're asking young boys, not even that old. They're just in their early teenage years. You're asking them to write a statement about their own mum to a Supreme Court. That's what you're asking. That's a hard thing even for an adult to do. So if they had help, I'm not judging them on that. Chipmunk said, I think she's playing a game with the Lyme. Eric had Lyme disease. It's a snub to those who care. Okay. Is that the only thing she could get a hold of in jail? What a pathetic, if that is the context here, what a pathetic showing from her. At least she didn't do the jail makeup. At least we didn't get like the, what is that red stuff called? Like the Kool-Aid lipstick. At least we didn't get that. At least we didn't get that. Danny said she doesn't care. When she seemed shocked at what her boys had written, I was like, come on, lady. You were there for all of this. Like, why are you shocked? What did you think they were going to say? Did you think they were going to come out and be like, Mom, we miss you. We love you. Thank you for killing our dad. What did you think they were going to say? Did you think they were going to be like, Mom, don't go to jail? No, they're going to say you're a bitch for killing our dad. That's what they were going to say. And that's basically what they did say. Hey, Moira, how are you? Good to see you. She's performative a little bit. Can we get some video of her in court? Hold on. Let me see if I can get some video of her in court so we can all see her walk to her table. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, Kouri makes me mad too because she basically treated her husband like a bank account. And when everything went wrong, she's just like, oh, let me do this to solve it. And she's surprised that she's going to spend the rest of her life in jail. Like, she's a very strange woman, very strange. And then I think the biggest thing is she thinks she's in the right. I'm almost sure she thinks she's innocent here. Judging by some of her looks today and some of the things she was doing, I think she thinks she's in the right. She's innocent, and this is like some sort of, she's being everyone's attacking her. I'm sure of it. Hold on, let me get you a video.
So in just the last hour, the Utah mom who published a book on grief after her husband's death has been sentenced to life in prison with no parole for his murder.
How much you aspire to be just like him, and I would have never taken half of you.
We're going to show you the moment here. Kouri Richins received her sentence today. It happened to be the day of her late husband's, Eric's, birthday. She was convicted of aggravated murder earlier this year for lacing his cocktail with 5 times the deadly dose of fentanyl in 2020.
Some accounts breaking down without sure Eric Richins died. Investigators did
Serve your community. Help when others are in need. Serve your community. Be like your dad.
And be like your dad. What does that mean? Is that a threat? That's what I would have said if I was the lawyers or the community worker for the boys. I'd be like, is that a threat? Are you threatening those kids? Because that's almost what it sounded like. Be like your dad? What? Are you saying dead? Is that what you're saying? Be like your dad. Be dead. That is a terrible thing for, I couldn't think of anything worse for her to say to the court. Yeah, brutal. Rachel said this statement was not an allocation, it was a message to her kids. Ridiculous. I think she could have said something else better than that. Amy said one of the boys accused her of poisoning him too. It's brutal. Her offending never ends. Yeah, here, I'll play the whole thing. Hold on, you crazy people in the world. Let me get the long version. I have the long version. I do. It's just some of them we can't use. Like some of them I watch, like when we're not on the air, but some of them we can't actually use on YouTube. We have to be very, very careful. Like, things like law and crime. We can't use law and crime. And KSL, actually, I think we probably can use that one. Yeah, let me go to KSL. Is this the right one? This is a sentencing. This is the last bit. Here, let me take you there.
6-3-201 subsection 2B and has prioritized those factors as required by section 201 2C. Having considered the gravity and circumstances of the offenses for which Ms. Richins has been convicted, the number of victims, and available information regarding the history, character, and rehabilitative needs of the defendant, the court hereby orders that the sentences on counts 2 through 5 shall run consecutively to each other and to the sentence imposed on count 1. Moreover, the court exercises its discretion and chooses to impose no fines related to any sentence in this case. The court addresses the 5 counts on which Ms. Richins was convicted in reverse order. Ms. Richins, based on your conviction on count 5, third-degree felony forgery, the court hereby sentences you to an indeterminate prison term not to exceed 5 years. Based on your conviction on count 4, second-degree felony insurance fraud, the court hereby sentences you to an indeterminate prison term of not less than 1 and not more than 15 years. Based on your conviction on count 3, second-degree felony insurance fraud, the court hereby sentences you to an indeterminate prison term of not less than 1 and not more than 15 years. Based on your conviction on count 2, first-degree felony attempted aggravated murder, the court hereby sentences you to an indeterminate prison term of not less than 5 years, and that may be for life. Which brings us to the final issue, the appropriate sentence for count 1. Under Utah Code 76-3-207.7, there are only 2 options. An indeterminate prison term of not less than 25 years, and that may be for life, or life in prison without parole. And the law requires that the court consider each option. Under a sentence of 25 to life, and considering the effect of the 4 consecutive sentences, the time that Ms. Richins has spent in custody, and the current practices of the Board of Pardons and Parole, Ms. Richins would likely serve approximately 30 years in the Utah State Prison before receiving her first parole hearing. By that time, she would be 66 years old. Under a sentence of life in prison without parole, Ms. Richins would be in prison for the rest of her natural life, unless the Board of Pardons and Parole determines by clear and convincing evidence at some future point that she is permanently incapable of being a threat to the safety of society, at which time the board would have the authority to release her. Under either scenario, Ms. Richins will be incapacitated, meaning structurally prevented from harming anyone outside the Utah State prison system for at least the next 3 decades, and perhaps much longer. But the potential impact on the survivors of the tragedy created by Kouri Richins, most importantly, Eric Richins' 3 sons, is more difficult to predict. On one hand, if the court sentences Ms. Richins to life without parole, one or more of those young men may come to resent that the court eliminated any opportunity they might have in the future, decades into the future, to express an opinion as adults with substantial life experience about whether their mother should, for example, be allowed to die with dignity. On the other hand, if the court sentences Ms. Richins to 25 to life,
Hey, I see you guys all saying the same thing about the judge. This judge might be my favorite judge in America. He is so good. I love the way he speaks. It's very clear, concise, and the way he explains everything is exactly how you want a judge to address a lot of this legalities. Because for the average person who's not in a court every day, a lot of this wording and terminology is very confusing, and the way he expresses it is perfect. He has a very commanding voice, but it's quiet and clear. And he is so good. I could listen to him for hours.
One or more of those young men may spend the next 30 years questioning why the court failed to protect them from the prospect of the person who murdered their father being released from prison at some time in the distant future, perhaps when they have families and children of their own. The court's contemplation of how those young men may come to feel about today's decision some 30 years from now comes from a place of genuine concern for them and humility regarding the court's inability to predict the future. Sitting here today, it is simply not possible for anyone, not even those young men, to know how their view of this case may evolve over the next several decades. My hope is that every person affected by Eric Richins' death will, over time, find their way to a state of peace. As for today, the court's duty is to make a decision, a weighty, long-lasting decision based on the best information available today. And the bottom line is this: Kouri Richins was convicted unanimously and beyond a reasonable doubt of attempting to murder Eric Richins, her husband and the father of their 3 children. And then, having failed in her first effort of spending the next 17 days not changing course, but doubling down, preparing to try again, and ultimately completing the act through the administration of poison. And for what? Money. All for pecuniary gain. A person if convicted of committing that sequence of acts in that way and for that reason, and who causes the absolute tragedy that has befallen Eric Richins' sons and family. A person convicted of those things is simply too dangerous to ever be free. Accordingly, Ms. Richins, based on your conviction on count 1, first-degree felony aggravated murder, the court hereby sentences you to life without parole. You have the right to an appeal. You must file a notice of appeal within 30 days. You have the right to be represented by counsel on appeal.
I don't know if you saw, but she knew in his wording before he handed down the actual life in jail, but she knew. She gave this look to a lawyer. Where is it?
First-degree felony aggravated murder to that has befallen Eric Richins' sons and family. A person convicted of those things is simply too dangerous to ever be free.
Right there. Right there. She knew. She looked at her lawyer and the lawyer knew too. She smirked. She knew it was life in jail. She didn't even need him to say it. The fact he said that she was too dangerous to ever be free, she knew what the words were coming next. That's why when you get to the end of it here, she's not surprised by it. She just sort of rolls her eyes, and she knew it was coming down the pipeline. So I don't believe she'd win an appeal. I've looked at a lot of the documents throughout this case. I know we haven't gone through them in depth on this channel, but I've been following at home, and I've checked through a lot of these bits and pieces that have been coming out, and I can't see a reasonable expectation for an appeal or for a judge to grant that. I know she automatically gets one, but I can't see her getting past that first hurdle. And that's sort of how like legal works. You have to jump these hurdles. And I can't see her getting over it, especially when this particular judge went to great pains throughout this trial to um, give her every opportunity, give her legal team every opportunity. Even when they screwed things up, the judge was like, okay, let's try again. Let's do this. I'll give you more time. How about we come back tomorrow? Like, he did everything. And that's what a good judge does. A bad judge rushes through everything and just covers up things and goes, oh, don't worry about that. Oh, we'll deal with that later. A good judge rewinds, lets it go. Hey, let's try something different and let's make sure it gets covered now. And he did that. Couple of hiccups throughout the trial, as we know, but I saw this in another judge, the judge for Aaron Patterson. He was given a very difficult task doing that trial in a rural setting, in a very small courtroom, and he was very much the same, very, very generous with the time. Anything that needed from either party, he was like, "That's fine. We can do it. We've got time. There is no rush." And it was sort of the same very much here too. And that's a good judge. A bad judge rushes through and says, "We've got a time limit. Hey, we booked this in for 6 weeks. We can only go to 6 weeks. Hey, we ain't going a minute past." That's a bad judge. Good judge goes, "I don't care how long we go, as long as we get to the truth." And that's a great one. I love this guy. This guy's such a good judge. I hope we see him again in another trial. I'm sure we will. He's very good. Kelly said that look was so sarcastic and had so much attitude. She's going to have that attitude in jail just to stay alive. I don't think people realize how much of a target Kouri Richins is going to be in jail. I don't know where she is right now, if she's in solitary protection or some type of protection unit. I don't know if even if they have that in Utah. I know they have it in Australia where I live, but she's always going to be a target to other inmates. Always. They are not going to be like, "Welcome to the family, Kouri Richins. We love you. Look how famous you are." She will always be a target. They will always try and attack her. Um, Too dangerous, too dangerous. And I like the fact that he even talked about what if in 3 decades from now, when the children are grown up, when they may have families of their own, what if their opinion changes on what they have written today? They don't get to go again and roll the dice once more. And he's like, I have to try take that into account. But at the end of it, he's basically saying, I am not a fortune teller. I cannot see into the future. And he's like, I have to do what's best by the court and the laws that we have today. And he gave her the life in jail. Amy said she's going to be a scheming mean girl no matter where she ends up. I'd be very worried about her safety in jail. Rachel said she has another case with this judge, the insurance, financial one that's coming up. I don't know. I don't know if that one's going to have as big of an audience. What do you guys think? Do you think she's going to have that one where it's not a murder charge is going to be that much with the media? Maybe. Rachel said, "Here's a saint dealing with Nesta. She likes being dramatic and delaying." I got to say, I was not impressed by her legal team throughout this entire thing. I thought, and that was one of the worries I had throughout this trial with if she chose these specific people. I don't know if she chose them or they were just assigned to her case, but it felt like maybe Kouri would try for later on for a claim of ineffective counsel because they just did, like half the time they would try to do something and prosecution was like, they can't do that. And then they would be like, wait, we already said like 4 times today, they can't do that. Like it's like they didn't know how to do their job. It was one of the most bizarre things I've seen in a trial. It was really weird. The fact that they didn't know they couldn't do certain things, and then the prosecution had to keep like pulling them back, going, "Hey, we already told you you can't do that." And then the judge would have to step in and be like, "Hey, yeah, we already had a sidebar about this, and we already talked about it." I don't know if they were pushing limits or they didn't actually know what they were doing, but they were very frustrating to watch, and I can't say I really like them very much. I thought they did a poor job. Do you think her lawyers really do believe her and drank the Kool-Aid like they testified to today? No, no, no. They have a job to do. Their job is to represent the person they have. Do you think what do you think would happen? All right, let's play devil's advocate here. What do you think would happen if they went on the stand today and went, "Yeah, she's a fucking bitch. She's psychotic, man. We can't deal with her. She's insane." What do you think the judge is gonna do if they came on the stand and testified like that and went, "Oh my god, we've had like a year of dealing with her. She's mental. Like we can't deal with her. We are so glad to get out of this case. Oh my god, I'm happy to go home today. I'm glad she's being sentenced. I never have to see this woman ever again." Of course, they have to. Kurt Nurmi, that yeah, okay, he gets the credit for that. But you can't really do that. You can't really do that. It was just the way they said some things today. Wow, I don't think so. I don't think they fully believe it, right? I don't think so. Kelly said the defense was so awful to watch. They seemed incompetent and unorganized. Yeah, that's the image I got from them too. That the fact that they were ill prepared, they didn't know their cross examination at times, and then sometimes they get lost in their own evidence. And I was like, what? You've had months to go through this and practice it. Did you guys not look at the evidence like before we got here? It was really strange. I think it's weird. Marlene said, like the suitcase woman who killed her boyfriend. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, her lawyer also was not impressed with her. Hey Neil, how are you? People will send her dollars. There are ways for inmates to solicit funds, and Kouri will be good at it. Wasn't there a article just recently about a famous inmate soliciting donations? Oh, who was it? I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was only a couple of weeks ago. There was an article that came out saying that someone who had either been in court and someone we would have followed on this channel was in jail soliciting donations from the outside, but I can't remember quite who it is now. It was someone, and they said that they had been tracking her sort of balance and that she had been receiving money from the outside. Amy said the way they insisted on their gay affair accusation with a straight face. I'm sure we're gonna find out in like 2 years when Dateline does a special and they bring these two on and they come on and they do the whole Dateline thing and they sit down and they're like, "So, tell us who Kouri Richins really is." And they'll be like, "Did you? Did you really believe her stories?" And then they'll be like, "No, but we had a job to do. We had to provide the best defense we could." So I think we're gonna get that episode. Moria said, Miss Lewis reminded me of Laurie Vallow, a Timu lawyer. That's pretty funny. Timu lawyer. Hey, Emma, what's up, my friend? The Malay on Death Road Wayne. Oh, is that who it was? Might have been. Might have been. Marlene said, lawyers do have to sell their souls. Well, I think they've just got a job to do. Not everyone can be a prosecutor, right? In the world of legal, there's only so many prosecutors on that side of the bar, right? There's only so many positions for that. So they have to make a living somehow. And they either go into private practice and they deal with other types of law, or they have to put their names up to get defendants appointed to them through the bar. Like, what choice do you have if if you can't get on the other side? You have to do something. Everyone deserves a defense. Yes, they do. That's right. So they'll never be out of work because there's always going to be a defendant. So some lawyers like to do that because they're always going to have a case they can take on. So that's, something they have to do. I mean, I don't blame them. It's the world of legal. I don't think they're bad people one way or the other. They have a job to do. But I just say that I think they were a little incompetent during Kouri's trial. Like, I've never seen a lawyer or barrister get pulled up so many times and made to look dumb. Like, you know how lawyers always like to think they're very clever, and because they've done so much studying and they're so highly regarded in our world, they like to think they're sort of up here. But when you get pulled up by the prosecutor 900 times during a trial, that doesn't bode well for your intelligence. And it tells me that you didn't prep well enough. Kim's, yeah, that is weird. You guys got personal jinx on each other. Cheap suits. Cheap suits, that's right, Mr. Daney. Cheap suits. 10 for $1. All right. What else do we have? Let's have a look. So what are these other ones coming up? Let me have a look. So what's the next one? She's got her appeal, and then she has the financial crimes case coming up. Then there's apparently a civil litigation as well. Kouri Richins has been engaged in a complex civil legal battle over her husband's estate. That'll get solved now. There is no way that she has any claim to it anymore, now that she's been convicted of murder. And then prosecutors have requested that a continuous protective order be placed against Richins to prevent her from contacting Eric's family members and children. Good work. That is needed. The last thing we need is Kouri Richins from jail phone calling Eric's family members or her own children or other people involved for the next 50 years. We don't need that. What else do we have here? This one will be interesting, the financial crimes. This is probably not for everyone. I don't think this is, a lot of people don't like financial crimes cases because they're a little bit dry. I will have to see. Do you guys think that you would watch it? Do you think you'd watch Kouri Richins' financial, um, like the charges for that one? These are also felonies. They're the insurance fraud, forgery. No, are they the right ones? Insurance fraud and forgery? 2 dozen money-related charges in a separate case. That's the one we want. The other ones that got dealt with today. God, this woman did everything. Let's see. When are we going to trial for that one? Nope, not that one. Not that one. Let me have a look. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get down to the end of here. It just says Richins also faces more than 2 dozen money-related criminal charges in a separate case that has not yet gone to trial. When is it going to trial? It would have to be pretty quick, I would think. These charges were indicted in June of 2025 and are separate from the murder conviction, yes. Okay, they're not going to tell us when it's going to go? Okay. Just said it's not gone to trial yet. We'll have to wait and see on that one. I mean, that the fact that she's already spending life in jail, these are just sort of formalities now. How much more life in jail can you get her? So these are just extra claims that'll have to be aired out in a courtroom. I expect that this would be settled pretty quickly. They're not going to go through a lengthy proceeding for those because there's no point. Kelly J said, "I think the financial crimes can be interesting. I want to hear more about her amazing home flip, the home flipping business. I want to hear more. I want to hear more about her so-called fantasy investments. I want to hear more about that. Yes, the mansion, right? I want to hear more about that." Rachel said her best friend deserves justice. She ruined so many lives, even away from the murder itself. She destroyed like a fracture of people surrounding her, like the judge was trying to demonstrate. It's not just the person who died that's a victim. There's like 50 people who surround Kouri Richins and Eric, who are now victimized for the rest of their lives because of what either Kouri did, Kouri took advantage of them, or things that happen after the murder. And they all have to deal with it. All these people, like dozens and dozens of people. And it shows you how sometimes these crimes we focus on the victim and then we focus on maybe the children and the perpetrator. But we don't think of all those hundreds of people surrounding the two sides of it who now have to go through life going, yeah, my brother-in-law was married to Kouri Richins, and we've had to go through court 900 times. It's sad. Those people may never get their lives back ever. Kouri was like a time bomb to many. I don't. Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. Cat Ride, hey my friend, how are you? Federal charges are no joke. They come heavy. She better take a plea. The only negative she would have from the federal charges is the possibility that they could transfer her to a federal jail. I mean, she has sort of like a twofold legal problem, because say if she went to appeal and she appealed her, so what I think might happen is they might hold off on those federal charges until she is done with her appeal. Because if they do the appeal, then bring those charges, it can create a bit of a legal headache. And I think whoever's prosecuting on the federal charges might want to wait, and wait for that appeal to go through. Because if she was to say win her appeal, and then then say they prosecuted her already for the federal crimes, it would cause a real big problem. They would be like, well, she's already been convicted of this. We've already moved her. Like, do we move her now? So I'd say they want to get this stuff out the way and then maybe try and do. I mean, that's the way I see it going, but maybe I'm wrong. Because, yeah, it can cause a bit of a problem. We'll have to wait and see, but that's what I would think. Moira said, more about the mansion. Eric was trying to bail her out, in my opinion. Yes, we need to know more about the mansion. Kelly said the mansion looks horrible. It was bought and done by an investor. I don't know how, with all the holes on the flyover. Let's have a look. Is the address public? I think it is, right? Kouri Richins mansion address. I think we looked it up one time already. Yeah, we did, right? It's 106 North Legacy Way, Midway, Utah 84049. Oh, it's near Provo? Ah, we've done heaps of stories out of Provo. We've done tons of stuff out of Provo before. Wow. I don't know if this is, I think we looked up a different one. I don't remember looking up this one. Holy moly. Wow, this is what she thought her life was like. That's so funny. Can I ask any of you guys, look, you don't have to tell us, but does anyone in the chat live in a property that looks like this, with a separate 5-car garage and a 19-room house that has 26 bathrooms and is on a giant plot of land like this? If you do, congratulations, you've worked hard in life and you deserve it. Or you are a scumbag and you've defrauded multiple people. Either one, pick a side. But look at it. Oh, wow. That parcel of land is huge. How come it's the only one around here? It's concerning that this is like the only one here. There's none others. There's one here and it's tiny. Even that's probably a massive house. Like, this place is probably pretty big, but it is dwarfed by Kouri Richins' one. Look at this thing. It's like a Mick mansion. It's a Mick mansion. That's what it is. No way. Kathy said, my house looks just like that in my dreams. Your house is bigger than that? Yours is too? Hey, Ruby, how are you? Ruby for justice. I like that you're for justice. So are we on this channel. It is good to see you. It's bonkers. Can we get a face view of it? Like, can we go down here? Oh my God, did they blur it? It's the mysterious blur in the sky. Do you guys ever go down the road and you're like, bloody Google, they keep blurring everything? Can you come across a giant thing that looks like that in the sky? Does that happen to you often? I mean, maybe we have to campaign against Google, stop them from adding blur. They blurred it. Are you serious? Can we get a view if we go? Oh, they blurred it, but what's that? Congratulations. Good work on your blurring. Well done. You just move up the road a little bit. There you go. Is it 2 properties? That's like one house? I thought that was a garage. It's like a tiny little house, and then there's got this ugly looking house. Far out, that's an ugly looking property. What is with the circle steeple type function? Does this have like a walk around staircase on the inside of it? I bet you it does. I bet you it's got a spiral staircase that goes up through here to get to the second level. That's what that looks like. Wow. I mean, beautiful place. What a beautiful place to live in Utah. It is a very beautiful state. If you ever want to live like with wilderness and mountains, and you could go live in Denver, Colorado. No, I'm just kidding. You could live in Utah. It is beautiful out here. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to know more about this and the financials around it, because that's not easy to do. Wait, did they say what is for sale? What is this? For sale? Legacy Ranch something ranch. The Legacy something? They blurred it slightly. What does it say? The Legacy Ranch. They're selling that entire plot of land. Maybe it's been sold by now. This was in July of 2024. Can we go forward? No, the last photo was in July of 2024. That's probably been sold by now, but looks like they have sold a giant patch of land nearby. Crazy property, eh? Brutal. Danny said, can't see myself in Zuta. You know, Danny, I love Arizona. I love those the orange brick homes that you guys have, those orange colored rendered homes. They're beautiful. I'd love to live in Arizona. The only thing I don't like about Arizona is the insane heat and then the monsoon. So you guys get like crazy heat. Then you get the monsoon come in and you get rain and dust storms every afternoon. I don't know if I want to live through that. Montana said Midway was a lovely little farm area settled by Swiss folks. Ah. Pueblo? We could live in Pueblo. Amy said it wasn't hooked up to the sewer or anything yet. So there's no local amenities. They haven't done any work out here. So basically they built a giant property, but they didn't connect any bathrooms. Unless they were going to build like an on-site septic system, like sometimes they do the pond or they do the underground tank. Unless they were going to do something like that, but I don't know how you live with no water unless they were going to do some sort of, yeah, how do you have no water? Wait, is that a signpost for water? Private property. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a marker for like gas or something like that. Let's have a look. Please keep gate closed. Livestock are grazing. They must be having livestock in here to keep the grass down. Because if they didn't, this place would look like a jungle. Brutal. I hope we get more information about this later on. Help me, the blur is following me. I like how if you just move a little bit over, most of the blur goes away. Yeah, it's not finished though. See how it's got the outside with the white wood on it? That is only like 20% complete. Over here, they've only got the vapor barrier on the home. So this is far from completion. They don't even have the outside cladding on the property. Looks like it got halfway built and they just put down the tools and never came back. Same with this one. Looks like they got up to the plywood. They put windows in and then they never came back. I bet you, look at this. The windows are open on the property. I bet you kids have been in here, like trashing it and spray painting. There's like holes in the windows too. Considering this is from 2 years ago, it may not even look like this anymore. So Rachel said it's a natural wetland, so utilities are an issue. You would have to do something like a natural, the one where they do like the reed bed, where you put the reeds and then have the water flow into that, and it naturally biodegrades. You can put stuff in there, so like the reeds and different plants and They do it on some places where they're unable to get sewerage hooked up to the property. They do these sort of natural ponds where they put different things in there that do it naturally. There is ways to do it. Amy said it was the pet project of some rich dude. He got bored and dumped it after all the legal issues. Yeah. Here, let's look up what does it look like today, because this image is 4 years old. I mean 2 years old. What does it look like today? Oh, it looks exactly the same. It looks exactly the same. They never finished it. New owner of Kouri Richins Midway Mansion will finish the home. Will they? That was in 2023. So they said they were going to finish it. Okay. Let's see. When was the last update we had? Last update was, I think the last update was in 2023. They're saying here, they're saying the Midway property has since gone through foreclosure and was sold to a new owner who plans to complete the construction. That was the last update, and that was 2 years ago in November of 2023. So that was the last update. What's going to happen to it now? I'm guessing nothing. The fact that they bought it in 2023 and then never finished the work on it doesn't take 2 years to finish that work, and it looks like they never actually did much with it. So I reckon it'll eventually get bulldozed. It'll eventually get knocked down if it isn't already. There's no way you can't let a house sit like that with no outside protection for multiple years and then expect to be like, yeah, we could just put some paint on it and then we'll live in it. It doesn't work that way. All the wood's probably rotted. There's water that's got into stuff that you normally have water protection on it. It's probably ruined. Let's see. Hey, Four Sons Mom. So we talk about Utah and you pop up. We talk about Utah and you pop up, my friend. You probably come to tell us what's going on. Moira said the properties had major issues. Yes, water problem. You can't leave a property with the plywood facing the elements like that. The other one on the other side, the little one, it does have the vapor barrier on, but you're supposed to put the vapor barrier, then put another piece on the outside, your finishing part of it. Then you're supposed to put your cladding or what kind of material you want to use. You can't even leave it like that. If water gets behind that plastic wrap, you're screwed. That place is probably moldy. It's full of rats, I bet you, and it's probably going to have to be knocked down. You're probably not going to be able to fix that. It probably has mold now. I would think it's full of mold. Look at the grass as well. See how high the grass is, even from 2 years ago? This is all water. This is water. When it rains, it gets waterlogged. This place is probably has to be knocked over. I would love to see if they could fix it, but I don't think so. I think they're probably going to have to get rid of it. Oh, there's a wider view photo here. Let's have a look. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's changed very much, does it? There you go. That does look like it was supposed to be a 3-car garage and then a big whatever this bit was for. A truck, maybe? I don't know. Bonkers. It's like the most bonkers mansion ever. The Herbert Valley is a lovely area. I bet you it is. It looks beautiful visually. Justice Jane, hey my friend, how are you? My heart went out to the Richins family and the victim impact statements. Definitely. You know that story about the boys being scared to sit on dad's side of the bed really broke my heart, because in a time of uncertainty for those little boys, not only did Kouri not comfort them, she made them more petrified than what they were already. Those little kids just lost their dad. 50% of what they know in this world to guide them through life, and he's gone, Eric's gone, dad's gone. And instead of being the comfort and the rock for those boys, she decides to petrify them and be like, if you sit on dad's side, you might end up like him. Like, it's horrifying. Those poor kids. I hope they get it. They're going to need a lot of help. I hope they get it from family, which I'm sure they will. Let's see. Can we get more of the victim impact statement so we can watch it? Let me see if I can get it so we can watch the whole thing. But yes, I'm with you guys. I want to see the rest of the financial things because I am very interested in how that works with the home and a few other things. All right. That's the Kouri Richins one though. We don't want that one. Eric's sister, no. Yeah, let me see. I could probably find it. I could find it. Give me 1 second. We'll find it. I want the one that is the other one. Kouri Richins. We have her one. Here.
Good morning, Judge.
Take your time.
My name is Jessica Black. I'm a licensed clinical mental health therapist and a registered play therapist. Myself and my colleagues are here today to read the victim impact statements for 3 children. We are here as advocates on their behalf. After a developmentally appropriate process, the boys were able to decide individually how they wanted to share their statements, and this is what they chose. Our roles are to read their words exactly as they wrote. The boys want the court and the world to hear their side. This is from WR. I woke up to sirens, and there were a lot of people at my house, and I was definitely scared. I felt confused. I was in a bedroom with my brothers, and I didn't know what was happening. At first, I was really scared because I didn't know what was happening and I had no control and I felt helpless. I felt really overwhelmed. After my dad died, Kouri would put us in the basement while she was with the neighbor. I felt scared because I thought something really bad was happening again. She would take me to places that smelled really bad. Everything she did made me feel uncomfortable. When someone talks about Kouri, it makes me feel hateful and ashamed. She took away my dad. It's made me have a hard time trusting people. I was scared that Kouri's family would come to my school and take me. I had to go to counseling with DCFS in Heber, and I did not like it. DCFS made me talk to Kouri, and I couldn't do things that I wanted to do. I felt not important to anyone. I feel a lot better about myself now than I did with Kouri. I can't ever see my dad again. I want her to go to prison forever. If she got out, I would be so scared, really mad, and I wouldn't want to go with her anywhere. I'm worried that she would take me away from Katie and Clint. Once she is gone, I will feel happy, and I will feel safer and relaxed.
That must have stung. Did you hear that bit where he said, once she goes away, I can feel X, Y, and Z? That must have been like a dagger to her. Like, her kids are like, bye-bye. We don't want you around. Go away. As a mom, no matter what you think of her, that, she wrote didn't write, but, she did a book on grief for kids or whatever. That must have been like a dagger to her. To have that, to hear that from her kid saying, basically, I want her to go away. I don't care if she goes to jail forever. That would be perfect for me. That is brutal.
And trust people more.
Thank you. Christina.
Yes,
Good
Your
morning.
Honor. I am Christina Greening. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, not registered play therapist, and I will be reading for AR. You took away my dad for no reason other than greed, and you only cared about yourself and your stupid boyfriends. You were not caring and watching over me and my brothers. I had to be a parent to W. C and I would walk him to the bus stop, feed him, and watch him. You were not concerned about our health. When we got hurt, you didn't even care. When C got ran over by a side-by-side, you still made him go to the soccer game that day without taking him to the doctors first. You would lock C in his room, and I would have to go to the kitchen and bring him food. You shamed us when we didn't want to eat uncooked lasagna you made. We threw it away because we couldn't eat it. Then you made us watch videos of children starving in war areas. You wanted to scare us into eating something that wasn't cooked. You wouldn't let our dog outside, and then the dog would pee inside. You created this problem, then you would smack my dog on the head as hard as you could. You wouldn't let me put my kitten in the garage for safety at night, and we found it eaten by raccoons the next day. You wouldn't let us turn on and use the heater.
Wait, I must have missed that bit earlier. Did he just say that they had a pet kitten and then they wanted to bring it inside the house for safety at night? And when Kouri said no, it can't come inside at night, it got eaten by a raccoon? Do raccoons eat cats? I've never heard of this before. Do they eat pets? What? I mean, do they mean a coyote or a bobcat? I mean, I can imagine a bobcat or a coyote eating a kitten. A raccoon? Is that a real thing? Hold on. Do raccoons eat kittens? Oh, apparently yes. Apparently raccoons will kill and eat kittens, especially if they are small, vulnerable, or if the raccoon can't find other food. I've never heard of that before. You learn something new every day. Wow, I've never heard of a raccoon killing a pet. Oh, interesting.
Lamp for the chickens and bunnies, and they froze to death. You would always argue with my dad and lock the door. You were not playing the role as a real mother does. You were doing the opposite. Now my dad can't be my coach anymore, can't be at any of my games. He won't be at my birthdays. He can't teach me how to drive. He won't be at my graduation, and he can't take me camping or fishing. You made me paranoid about sleeping on my dad's side of the bed by saying I might die or get harmed when I was just trying to be close to my dad after you killed him. You took away everything from me and my brothers. I don't want you out of jail because I will not feel safe if you are out. You have never said sorry for anything that you have done to me and my brothers. I don't want you to hurt anyone again. I know that you will need to stay in jail to fully take accountability for what you did to me. See,
You know, it's very interesting when you hear a child like this talk. You hear some of the simplistic ideals that mean so much to them. Like, my dad can't take me camping. He won't be able to teach me certain things. And to that child, that's like their entire world. Like, that's what they want. That's what they crave. And you hear then later on in that their idea of forgiveness, and it's the only thing they really know, and it was either go to jail or say sorry. And they're like, Mum, you've never said sorry to us for taking our dad. And I was like, that's such a it's such a pure way of looking at the world, like a child's way of looking at the world. And it's so sweet in a way because it's devastating because of like what they've gone through and what they are going to miss. We all know that with their dad being gone, but it's like an adult wouldn't write it like that. They don't think of the world in that way, but it's to see the way they write it is very, very I hope they grow up to be okay, and I'm sure they will. They've got loving people surrounding them. But yeah, that sort of ideal, you never said sorry to me and my brothers. It's just very different to the way we look at it.
W and my dad. With you in jail, I will be able to continue to feel safe and live a happy and successful life without fear of you hurting me or anyone I love. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sarah?
Yes, my name is Sarah. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and registered play therapist, and I'm going to read the victim impact statement for CR. My name and age now, my name and age I was at the time of the crime. CR, age 12, now 13. I was 9 when my dad was murdered. What I would like to see happen if the perpetrator is convicted of the crime, I would like to see Kouri get a life sentence. My thoughts regarding an appropriate sentence for the person who is accused of this crime and if they are found guilty. I think Kouri should get a life sentence because what she did is very sick, because it had no reason to happen and it impacted a bunch of people, including me. These are some reasons why I think she should have a life sentence. The information I feel is important for the judge to be aware of in sentencing. I think the judge should know that my dad was a good person and very thoughtful and kind and helped whoever needed help. He was always taking the extra mile to help people. My physical injuries as a result of this crime are as follows. I was sleeping and then I went to get a drink of water, then went back to bed. And when I woke up shaking and Bailey called the ambulance and they came and I couldn't talk for a while, I think Kouri had something to do with it because she didn't call the ambulance. She called Bailey and Bailey called the ambulance. At the ER, Kouri resisted to have my blood drawn. And kids who usually have this kind of seizure is when they are a few months old to a year old. I learned later that Kouri bought more fentanyl and had it in the house when this happened. I think this is what happened. She did what she did to my dad in the living room. My experienced emotional injury because of this crime is described as follows. Sad. I feel mad that I have to feel sad. I went from being scared for my life to feeling really good.
By the way, what a bombshell that was to come out in a victim impact statement of all things, that her own child believes that she may have tested it on her son first. And I think that is brutal. I don't know if that is true, whether he really was poisoned with fentanyl. It maybe not, maybe a different chemical, maybe because he doesn't fully know. I would think maybe it could be something else. Cold doesn't fully sound right. It may have been some other type of chemical possibly. But yeah, interesting that it was like he had taken these mental notes. I was at the hospital, didn't get my blood drawn. She didn't call the ambulance. Like, this whole thing is so well thought out. For someone of this age, I would never have thought they could do a victim impact statement this well. It's very well set out. Maybe this young lady here helped set it out, but it's brilliant. It's very well done, better than the other two. The other two are younger, right? So they probably are speaking in more simplistic terms. This one is very well done.
I was scared for my life because I didn't eat that much. Kouri was always drunk or gone. I was always locked in my room. I can't remember, but I am pretty sure the lock was on the outside. Kouri threatened she would kill my lizard because we didn't want to watch some weird show with her. All of our chickens died because there was no food or water. My rabbit died because we didn't have food or water. The goats almost starved to death because she bought moldy hay and she didn't water them. Nothing ever got fed or watered. It didn't feel good to worry about my animals. I felt like I had to take care of my siblings. Ash mostly took care of me though, because I was locked in my room. Ash would bring me food. Kouri would lock me up if I told her she was drunk. This happened pretty much daily. I feel angry that she locked me in my room. I am angry almost all my animals died. I am angry she threatened to kill them. I am angry she killed my dad. I started to feel really good when I moved into a safe place. It was safe because the people around me were safe, Katie and Clint. I felt safe at Jake and Shalina, I believe, because I wasn't with Kouri anymore. Counseling. I feel annoyed that I have to go to counseling and tell the story about what happened 55 million times. I feel better now because I know it's to help me. I would like to not have to go to counseling. I would like to have to not worry about anything after this trial is over. I want the judge to know I hope Kouri gets convicted to a life sentence. Kouri is always drunk. I want the judge to know my dad was a good person and I miss my dad. I miss my dad, but I do not miss how my life used to be. I don't miss Kouri. I will tell you that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just after Mother's Day, too. Just after Mother's Day. And you get that message from your own children in a victim impact statement. I can't think, you can take the crime away like what she did. I'm sure every mother out there, no matter how heinous of a thing she does to anyone, their own children, another person, they still have that bond with their children. It's primal. The fact that they would say those things in the court, it must, she put on a pretty strong face, but I reckon she went back to her cells and absolutely bawled because those kids basically said, "We don't want you. We hope we never see your ass again. And please give my mom," which they didn't even say mom. They're just like Kouri, 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 Kouri. They didn't even call her mom. And they're just basically like, "Give her a life sentence. We don't want to ever see her again." Like that was just brutal. I know, right? Ruby says, talk about out of the mouth of babes. Definitely. It was, yeah. Fake surprise and outrage. I think there was one where they said something. Hold on, I'll pull it back. She actually looked shocked. Some of them were put on. You could tell she knew what was coming. Where's the one? I think it was the one where they were talking about the food. Is it this one?
Bought more.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't this lady. It was the other one.
Again, from me and my brothers. I don't want you out of jail because I will not feel safe if you are out. You have never said sorry for anything that you have done to me and my brothers. I don't want you to hurt anyone again. We threw it on and used the heater lamp for the chickens and bunnies, and they froze to death. This problem, then you would.
I can't find it, but you guys would have seen it when we watched it. She actually looked really like upset and shocked at some of the details that were coming out. I think one of the things we can take from this is Kouri Richins not only a convicted murderer? Should we call Peter? I think we may have to make a phone call to Peter. Is she an animal abuser? Listen to the statements from all three kids. They basically said that she abused animals throughout the entire, like half of their statements were about how she abused animals. Not only the dog, the kitten, the farmyard animals that they had, the chickens, like everything. She abused all of them apparently, according to all three of her kids. She didn't buy the food. She didn't turn on the lamp. She didn't bring them inside. She left them outside to freeze to death. Is she? We hear right in psychopaths that they often will take it out on animals as well. Is this the sort of prime example of Kouri Richins' first bit of offending is to hurt the animals? Might be. It might be that this is something that she did. She took her sort of like control out on the pets of the home. Brutal. Yeah, the lizard as well. Yeah, lizard. There was a lizard. There was like a dog. There was farmyard animals. She was too busy with her boyfriend. But no, the kids said not just it was like she was never there, so they didn't get fed. That she bought moldy hay and fed it to them. That she hit the dog like really hard, like with full force on the top of the head, and that she deliberately left, no heat lamp on for the animals so they died from cold. I think that's more than just being absent and letting the animals die. That's deliberate abuse of the animal. Hey, truth be told, how are you? Boyfriends in plural. Yeah, who was she fucking? Like, she must have been. How many boyfriends was she out there doing at one time? Sorry about the language. Sorry. I know we have people here that don't like the swear words, sorry. Amy said she threatened to kill a pet lizard because she didn't want to watch a show, because the kids didn't want to watch a show with her. Yeah, I want to know more about this weird show that apparently the kids didn't want to watch. I bet you it was Melrose Place. Sorry about the swear word. I didn't mean to. Montana said, how does a farm animal starve in Midway? Lovely grassy fields out there. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure how that works, especially if you live on a property. Kim said she was the town bicycle. You said it, not me. If I say something like that about a woman, the entire internet of women are going to come for me. So I can't say that. Chipmunk said, I really wonder what the kids knew of her dating. They seem to know enough. They seem to know that she was obviously seeing people who are not Eric, not the dad. And they took notice of it. And I think that shows you that the kids take notice of these small things. They know when you're doing something like that. You know, a lot of parents make excuses like, oh, the kids don't know, they don't understand, they're just kids. They take notice, and they really do know. So yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry to the people about swearing. Someone just left and they're like, I'm leaving. He said the F word. Chipmunk said she held once, she withheld wants and needs. I agree with you. I think that is true. Hey, Sean, thank you for gifting a membership. I appreciate it. You know, I was speaking to a friend last night and they were like, ping. Oh my God. Yes. I was speaking to a friend last night and they were like, Ping, why do you even do this channel anymore? And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Why do I do this show anymore? And they're like, oh, it doesn't seem worth it for you to keep continuing. And I was like, well, I love doing these shows and I love doing the channel with you guys. And I was just like, I'm going to keep continuing no matter how many things happen or whatever, or how many subscribers we get or we don't have. And they're like, you're braver than I am. So I was like, all right, fine. They just didn't understand. They're like, why? You're not making like 50,000 subscribers every year. And I'm like, I like the people that hang out here. I like them. Let's see. Yeah, Sean, thank you for the membership, gifting the membership. I appreciate it. Moira got it. Good work. All right, one more. We got one more to do. Where is it? One more. I feel like a rock star. One more. Give us an encore ping. All right, one more that I want to show you. Where is it? Are we on the right one? Yes, this one. Katie Richins. This is a good one.
I'm Katie, and I'm Eric's sister. To begin, there are a multitude of people who deserve credit and appreciation. Law enforcement agencies across the state of Utah, the Summit County Prosecutor's Office, the Medical Examiner's Office, expert witnesses who worked hand in hand with law enforcement, Eric's friends, Eric's coworkers, my friends, my family, our entire team of lawyers and experts in the civil lawsuit. There are far too many people to mention by name, and I suspect if I try to, I will inadvertently leave someone out. But to all of you, please know that this would not be possible without your efforts, your support, and the strength of the community that has stood beside us. Both my family and I are forever grateful to each of you. I am also very grateful to you, Your Honor, to this court for the dignified manner in which it presided over the trial, and to the members of the jury for faithfully performing their civic duties. Today is Eric's birthday. I stand before you because he can't. He was taken away from my dad, my sister, his nieces, his friends, our community, and worst of all, from his 3 amazing sons. Sorry. He was taken away from us by a person he should have been able to trust, the person he should have trusted most in the world, his wife. It's impossible to fully describe how devastating Eric's death and Kouri's crimes have been to our family. Nearly every aspect of our lives has been permanently changed, and we have no choice but to live with those changes and with Eric's loss forever. Eric was a phenomenal brother, father, son, nephew, grandson, cousin, friend, and businessman. Eric and I were extremely close. We went through school together and navigated life side by side. Wherever Eric went, I was usually tagged along right behind. At school, Eric's nickname was Richie, and mine was Little Richie, a reflection on how inseparable we were. He wasn't just my brother. He was my constant, my protector, and one of my closest friends. Eric was the kind of father who anticipated his children's needs before they ever had to ask. He made sure they were always having fun, taught them how to be respectful and kind, and was constantly planning for their future. His mind and heart was always on his boys, always. Everything he did was for them. Eric was the very best uncle. He made his nieces, my daughters, feel truly special. He always found ways to have fun with them. He doted on them with love and attention. Eric was an incredible son, always there for my parents, stepping in without hesitation and helping in every way he could.
You know what I think it shows you? It shows you that even with people's personal shortcomings, you know, Eric had some personal shortcomings throughout his life. Just because he had those personal shortcomings doesn't mean he was a bad person. And you see all these people stand up in court and say, even throughout those things, he tried to be good for other people, his parents, his siblings, his own children. And I think that's the overarching theme of the victim impact statements is don't listen to the minority of bad things maybe someone has lived through. Listen to the overarching person they are. And for Eric is that he was a good person. He really did care about others, and he tried to help people where he could. And even his own children said that. His own children were like, my dad helped anyone who asked. And I think that shows you exactly who Eric was, not the small things you might have heard throughout the trial from the defense or other people. It's about what is this overarching theme. And the overarching theme is that he was just a good guy and that he probably should be here today. And, you know, raising his kids, being a good son, being a good, you know, brother. And I think that's what I took from it anyway. All right.
Without being asked. The bond he shared with my mom was truly special. We would often joke that the umbilical cord had never really been cut, but in truth, it spoke to the deep, unbreakable love they had for each other. This is who Eric truly was, a man defined by love, integrity, and unwavering devotion to his family. He is none of the things that Kouri tried to portray him as. Those mischaracterizations were nothing more than a vile effort to deflect blame.
Those shortcomings there, that's what I was trying to reference. Like, look, everyone says they're a lie. They might be fully 100% a lie, but you know, I'm just saying you just never know. But I'm saying look at the overarching part of it, which is that he was a good guy. You know, everyone who comes forward says that, you know, he was a good guy, helped everyone, you know, was just a typical bloke. That's what he was. Didn't deserve to be killed by his crazy wife, ex-wife, whatever you want to call her. Yeah, he deserved to live. That's what it was.
And those mischaracterizations stand in stark contrast to the reality of the man we all knew and loved. Eric's life and his actions and the profound impact he had on those around him speak for themselves. and they tell a story of goodness, strength, and character that cannot be rewritten or diminished. The saddest part for me in all of this is that I got something with Eric that his sons never did: time. I feel cheated that I only got to spend a few decades with my brother, but I should feel lucky in comparison. As Eric's eldest son told me shortly after his dad's death, he and his brothers did not even get 10 years with their dad. It is devastating that Eric is not here to coach them, to work the family ranch with them, to teach them how to drive, to attend their high school graduation, to send them off to college, to see them get married, or to celebrate the birth of his future grandchildren. His 3 sons are going to grow up and live nearly their entire lives without their dad.
She makes a good point, right? That she got one thing with her brother that his own children won't get, and that is time. And she got multiple decades with him, even got to grow up with him as a child. But his own sons, his own offspring, will never get that because of the selfish actions of Kouri Richins. So I'm not going to play the rest of it. I think she's given you enough. Chibunk said people forgot he had Lyme disease, so he was in a lot of pain and still doing all he did, busting his butt. Pain and exhaustion are issues with Lyme disease. Yeah, Lyme disease, I was reading a thing the other day that in America, Lyme disease is now becoming like the second most reported disability, or not disability, maybe that's the wrong word, illness within young people. Like every year on year, Lyme disease is starting to be like such a big thing throughout the US. And I think it's because the ticks that gave it to people used to mostly be concentrated in the northeast of the USA. But they're saying over the last 30 years, those ticks have spread out throughout more of the USA. So they used to be sort of concentrated up in the northeast, and now they've come further south and more to the west. And now more people are being impacted by it more often. So yeah, it's scary that there's a thing out there where if it bites you, you get like a meat aversion, you get like crazy rashes, and you get like very, very ill, and there's no real treatments for it. It's brutal. And for a long time, doctors thought people reporting it were crazy, that there's no such thing. Like there was people that would go to the thing, they go, "Oh, I got bit by a tick now, all these symptoms." And they'd be like, "Nah, you're fine. Get out of here. You'll be all right." And it like people really thought they were being gaslit by medical people because they were just didn't understand about this sort of new disease that was being given by ticks. So it's starting to get better now. It's being more widely accepted, but yeah. Chibunk said it's called lupus, MS, fibromyalgia, and many other diseases before they figure it out. Yeah, I agree. Gaylor said that's the one that makes you allergic to red meat. Is ridiculous. The one, yeah, it's crazy what happens to you. Oh, it was Ruby that got the membership. Oh, hey, thank you. Thanks for being a new member, and thank you to my friend, Mr. Sean, for giving that to you. It's very kind. Did I say Moira? Oh, sorry, Moira. Here, I'll give away some memberships for doing that. Hold on. I'll give some to some people for free. If you want a membership, stick around in the chat for the next five minutes. Hold on. There you go. There you go. Gifted 5 memberships to people. I hope maybe one of you get it. I hope Moira gets it. I hope she gets it. That would be good. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, there we go. 5 memberships for people. We get them for free every month as part of a YouTube program, so I don't mind giving them away to people. It's good for the channel. It's good for people in the chat. It's good for everyone. So I don't mind giving them away. Okay, all right. So I think that's sort of our roundup of the Kouri Richins thing. I don't know how much more you'd like me to tell you about it. I'm sure we've gone through most of it now. It's I just had a weird flashback about a story that I was supposed to do. Was there another woman that was found guilty yesterday for murder? Hold on. Feel like there was another story. Hold on. By the way, Alex Murdoch has been had his conviction overturned for people who want to talk about that. Just let me check. I'm just checking my links. Who was it? Teenager. All right. Okay. I think I found a few of them, so we can have a look in a minute. Hey, Sean, what's up? Who got them? Okay. So Aaron the Rock. Hey, Aaron the Rock. Good to see you. Proud Mama B got one. Vintage Jewels, Gems, Pearls. Hey, Vintage Gems. Vintage Jewels, Gems, and Pearls. Good to see you. Savithag got one. Who else got one? January 5290 also got one. Hey, good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being in the chat. I hope you enjoy your membership. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah, let's see. You're welcome. You're welcome, Chipmunk. The pretend judge. Hey, good to see you. Alex Murdoch's second trial. Betty Broderick died May 8th. There you go. Yes, we did do that. Hold on. There's one that I wanted to bring you though. I found my links for it. Is it this one? We've had a few. No, that's not it. Aha, it was this one. Yes, I found it. How would you like to know about a story where a woman was killed and then her husband, murdered her? She was a finalist for Miss Switzerland. The husband put her into a blender and liquidized her remains. You guys heard about this one? His name is Mark Ryben. He's 43. He's been found guilty, and he's accused of killing his partner called Christina. I mean, apparently he put her in a blender, and this happened overseas, so overseas from America. I thought that was brutal. I thought we'd heard like everything we'd ever heard about nasty crimes against humanity. And then I heard about this one where he put her in a blender. I've never heard of someone being put inside of a blender and being liquidized before. Yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can find an update from like Sky News or something like that. Wow, there's so little information on this one. I mean, yeah, let me have a look. Yeah, where did it occur? So the crime occurred February 2024 at the couple's residence in Switzerland. Investigators indicated the death followed a domestic dispute, and during the trial, the defendant claims of self-defense were rejected by the court. In May of 2026, he was convicted of murder and violating the peace of the dead. It's an interesting way of putting that. Violating the peace of the dead. And they're saying here that the court highlighted the defendant's lack of empathy and the calculated nature of his actions. Prosecutors noted a high level of criminal intent and detachment during the commissioning of the crime. He's been sentenced to life in prison, reflecting the gravity and extreme nature of the offenses. Yeah, I'm going to try to find more about the blender because I want to know more about how that works. Because I've never heard of someone being blended before. They're saying here The court heard how the successful businessman grabbed his wife by the neck, pushed her against the wall, and choked her using a ribbon-like device around her neck. Prosecutors said he punched and kicked Christina as he strangled her cruelly and in cold blood, with his victim suffering an agonizing death. He then disposed of her body in an underground laundry room of the couple's home using a jigsaw, garden shears, knife, 10 liters of bleach, and then ultimately put her in a blender. While dismembering her body, he also removed her uterus, and because of the blood-chilling way he disposed of the corpse and the unusual charge of desecration of the dead was added to his indictment. That is brutal. Why did he remove her uterus? That is a strange. I don't mean to make fun of someone who is dead or has been murdered or the murderer. But is he another man who can't find the proper lady bits? I have a funny feeling he might be another guy who can't find the clitoris. And he's like, I found it. I had to cut her up. I found it, but I found it. It was inside of her. Look, it's here. And more women around the world are like, that's not it. Still not even close. That's not the right thing. That's called a uterus. That's not the right thing. Let's see. Yeah, that's brutal. I can't believe he did that to her. Put her in a blender after putting her into bleach and dismembering her. Let's have a look here. They say prosecutors say the motive for the murder was Christina's request for a divorce, which he adamantly refused. And after the murder, he is said to have calmly taken his children to a local restaurant for a meal. After cutting out her uterus, are you serious? You're like, hey, let's go out for dinner. His wife's remains were discovered by her horrified father, who had gone to the couple's home after calls to her mobile went unanswered. Prosecutors had called for life, while his legal team are saying he should get 3 years at most for excessive self-defense. He got life. It's okay. You guys can calm down. Addressing the court last week, the lawyer for Christina's parents read out an emotional statement from her mother, and it said, I stand here today in court as a mother who has lost her daughter, whose children miss their mummy every day. She was loving, protective of her children, gave them everything. Just 1 month after she tried to forge a new path for herself and her children, she was brutally torn from life. No verdict can bring back our daughter, but it can show that her life matters. And they're saying here, the 43-year-old claimed his wife threatened him with a knife. So he's saying this. The defendant is saying the 43-year-old claimed that his wife had threatened him with a knife during divorce dispute, claiming he had acted in self-defense, but prosecutors had said this was false. During the trial, the prosecutor said that based on evidence from the forensic medical report, there never was a knife attack. She said a minor injury on the right side of Rybin's jaw was not caused by the alleged kitchen knife at all. So they're saying a kitchen knife did not cause that wound. They said they found no defensive wounds on the defendant. And they said the claim that Christina was still holding the knife in her fist when she was killed is impossible. The man's behavior after the crime was almost beyond belief in its cruelty and absurdity. The man acted systematically and with a plan. His behavior demonstrated the full extent of his hatred for his wife. The prosecutor told the court the murder was intentional and that Rybin had studied how to dismember his wife's body. Brutal. I got a wedding photo for the two of them. Here is their wedding photo from back in the day. Crazy that he would do that. I feel like we're just hearing like more and more crazy stories from the world, especially this type of thing. I don't know how he got her in the blender. It must have been in pieces after he dismembered her. That's what I'm thinking. Let's have a look. Just get a cookie and walk away. Dang. Yeah, get a cookie. Kathy said, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to have a look at how a blender works. Here, let's try find more information about this. Let me see if I can find the court document for it. Mark Ryben. I want to know why or how a blender got involved. I really can't find, like, there's not a lot of reporting out of the region, out of Switzerland, unless I'm looking at the wrong area. Let me try one other way of looking for this. Strange. There's like very little reporting on it, even out of anywhere. Here's another photo of her, by the way. There's another photo of what she looked like. And here's a photo of the both of them, like, later on. So why he decided to cut out a uterus, I got no idea. I think that's bizarre. Apparently here, the judge also ordered him, in his conviction, to pay 100,000 Swiss francs compensation to the couple's two daughters, aged 5 and 6, while Christina's father was awarded 120,000 Swiss francs and her mother 100,000 Swiss francs and her sister 60,000. The amounts were to be increased 5% interest from the date of the killing. How much is 120,000 Swiss francs in no, I want to go to USA money. USA, United States dollar. So 120,000 Swiss francs is about 153,000 United States dollars. So yeah, it's a roughly about a 10% increase on the money. So just add 10% to make it. So they got awarded around $500,000 total in compensation for the death of Christina. SB1 said there's no way he got very far with the blender. Can't even make proper cat food with my Ninja, and it's powerful. I have a Ninja too, and I love it. Greatest blender I've ever had. That thing could tear off an arm. I swear, you can blend anything with a Ninja. I've never tried human remains, but it can do almost anything. Those Ninja blenders are brutal. I wonder if anyone's ever stuck their hand in there by accident or something. Like those, have you seen the blades on a Ninja blender? They are brutal. Here, Ninja. They have these like crazy razor blades, and they got like a middle part on it that has another two razors on it. Here. So you have these two that stick out. These have both got a razor edge on it. And then this one in the middle also has razor edges. This one on the bottom does not. These ones on the bottom do not. But all these ones on the top all have a razor edge on it. They're hardcore. All right, let's go back to our story. I wish we had more about this blender. Why did they mention it if they don't have any details about it? I want to know more about like who puts someone in a blender. Ah, interesting. Okay, so you guys were right. The ones who said this was a industrial blender, we're sort of doing another find out with me at the end of this episode, which everyone really loved. So following the murder, Ryben took the body to the laundry room and used a jigsaw, knives, and garden shears to dismember her. He then removed her uterus. Why the uterus? I don't know. Put multiple body parts into an industrial blender to puree them and attempted to dissolve the remaining evidence in a chemical solution. So he pureed his wife. The F is wrong with this guy. So apparently the wife's father discovered her remains after going to the house because she failed to pick up her children from school. He searched the laundry room and found her severed head inside a black bin bag. Could you imagine being that father, going to her marital home and waiting for her and thinking, why did she not pick up her kids from school? You go into the house and he goes down into the laundry and finds her head in a garbage bag. I'm so glad he didn't find her pureed remains in like a jug or something. Could you imagine that? He's like, oh, I got to take the kids to school. I better just leave this jug of human remains on the counter. I could imagine him doing something dumb like that. That is brutal. Absolutely. I mean, that poor lady, man. Like hedge is that yeah. Like he used all sorts of different tools to try remove parts of it. But yeah, he used a jigsaw, knives, and garden shears to dismember her body. He then removed her uterus, again why we don't know, and then put body parts into an industrial blender to puree them. So that's what he did. Very, very, very strange. I'm just having a look at another source for information. They're saying her autopsy revealed a catalog of injuries, including blunt force trauma and cuts all over Christina's face, bruising across her body, and hair had been torn from her scalp. Pureed body parts were also found by police inside an industrial blender inside the couple's home. Other parts of Christina were dissolved in chemicals. In a chilling detail, investigators found Ryben had been watching YouTube on his phone as he carried out the dismemberment. Christina's body was later found by her own dad when he saw blonde hair sticking out of a black bag in the laundry room. The father had been around the family home eating dinner with his grandchildren and Ryben when he made the discovery. The only organ not found in the home was Christina's womb, as investigators said it was carefully removed. This led to the rare charge of desecration of the dead being added to the prosecution's case. So they found all of her in whatever manner of condition, but the one thing that they could not find was her womb. Basically, they were unable to find it. That is very, very shocking. Very shocking that they would do that to her. Autopsy with remaining parts. That's what that sounds like what they did. Sounds like they had to open up that industrial puree machine and remove organs from it to be able to complete the autopsy and removal of human remains. Montana said one does not just add up and do something like this. What else has he been up to before he did this? I reckon he's probably been beating her for a period of time. What was he watching? He was watching videos on how to dismember a body. That's what he was watching. So he was watching like surgical videos on how to like take apart a knee and how to take off a hip and how to take off an arm. That's what he was watching. Chipmunk said tried to make an acid mixture, probably. Yeah, they said some of it was dissolved in the chemical mixture. Moira said, why is my mind going crazy about the worm? I want to know what he did with it. Did he just like throw it into the ocean like a frisbee? He's like, be gone! And he just threw it over a bridge and like watched it skip across the water? Is that what happened? Like, I'm concerned. Is he keeping it somewhere like some sort of crazy serial killer memento? You know how he said he had the father over for dinner the night that Christina's father, found her remains in the laundry room? You don't think he put it in the food they ate, do you? You don't think he like served it to everyone, put it through the mincer, and made something for dinner out of it, do you? Because they haven't found it. They don't know where it is. Yet he had the father-in-law over for dinner that night. I'm concerned that they made something out of it, and that's why they can't find it, is because him, his children, and the father-in-law ate it as part of, like, dinner. That is I think that might be what happened. Why else would you invite the father over for dinner after you killed his daughter? No, he has not confessed anything. Gayla said they would have tested the food. How can you test the food after they ate it? He may have ate it. They did the washing up. The plates are gone. Ruby said she was so thin. Did she eat? I have no idea. She is quite thin, right? She might be one of those natural girls who are like very, very thin. I mean, she was a model, so some girls are just like that. Some girls like can't put on weight to save their life. And I'm sure all the other girls are very jealous of that. Espion said, no, it's just the first part. Inside, he tried to take out easily without too much mess. He didn't realize it was harder to get it out than he thought. Interesting. Gross. Gayla said evening meals are not normally a hot meal. It's open. Yeah, in Europe, yes. They do. In Europe, they have their dinner at lunch. So what an American would think of as a dinner, they have that at lunchtime. And at nighttime, they have like a supper, which is like, yeah, like sandwich or like cheese and crackers or something like that. They have like a light meal in the evenings. Not all of Europe does this, but places like Spain that's pretty popular, where they there's two ways of living in Spain, I heard. You either eat very early or you eat very late at night, like 11, 12, 10. They eat very late because especially in the summer, because it's too hot during the day and no one wants to eat when the sun is up. So they eat when the sun goes down. Moira says, exactly, Ping. That's why my mind is going crazy, like the mushroom lady. That's right. SP1 said, I hope not. Please, dear God, please no eating her. I can't tell you. They never found it. So we'll have to wait until more information arises as to what happened to her womb and why that specific part. It's very strange. Here, let me have a look. Christina, here. Alt. I'm just trying to see if we can find any more details on it. All right, let me try one other source for you guys. You know, some people are saying maybe she was pregnant, early pregnancy at the time, and that is why he might have taken the womb. I mean, possibly. Maybe that is why. Apparently, the reason why we can't find a lot of details about this is because in Switzerland, their privacy laws are really, really hardcore. And the only details we can find are sort of what have leaked outside of the court. And that is why we can't find too much more about this. Let's see. Yeah. They just say here an alarming detail in the medical report was that her uterus had been removed, the only organ missing from her torso. And investigators have not publicly commented on whether this was a symbolic act, a psychological motive, or an attempt at further concealment. They have not said. So yeah, that is all the information I can bring you about that one. But that was one that I caught my eye the other day, and I was like, I have to tell you guys about this. Kelly said, this is why you never buy small appliances secondhand. No toasters, crock pots, large cooking pots, not to add blender to the list. I bought a secondhand Ninja, and the lady was like really nice. She's like, my husband likes to make curry, and she's like, this blender's too small to make, like he said, like when they put all the nuts and the herbs and the stuff. And she's like, it's just too small. So they bought a really big Ninja with the jug on the top, the jug attachment. And she's like, that one's much better for making like sauces and stuff. And she's like, my husband used it once, thought it sucked, and didn't want it anymore. And she gave it to me for like half price. So maybe it had human remains in it, but it makes very good smoothies. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. If someone killed someone, I'm good. But yes, don't be buying no secondhand things from people. You're going to end up in a lot of trouble. Let me see. Hey, my friend. Oh, hey, my friend, Deborah. Do you want me to? You sent a donation. Thank you so much. That's so kind. I appreciate it so much. But you seem to have sent two, and in different ways. The one that went in through a different way, would you like me to refund that should it come through? I'm happy to do that for you. And then just keep the other one that you sent. Is that what you'd like me to do? Yeah, can I refund that one? Is there a way for me to refund this one? I don't think I can refund it until it clears, but I'm happy to do that for you. I can do that, my friend. Okay. Yeah. So let me know, my friend. Hey, Cold Case Girl, how are you? I think he may be mad at her for either not wanting to have his baby, or maybe she had an A word. Just a couple of thoughts about this. She could have been pregnant. Like some other people are saying, like that might be why that he took the womb to avoid identification of her being, very early in pregnancy. But the one thing different with that is they can do a blood test and see if the woman has a hormone that is active only when she is pregnant. So like that's how they use the pee sticks, those pee sticks that girls use to tell if they're pregnant. Like that's the same thing. It works on a hormone in the urine stream. If you can do that, you don't need to take the uterus, you can just test her blood. So I don't know if it would be for something like that, but Cold Girl says, "You're welcome." Oh, okay. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate it, my friend. It's very generous of you. It's very generous. We have so many nice people on this channel who send in donations and that. It is very, very kind of all of you. Yeah, very kind, my friend. Very sweet. I appreciate it. Hey, the one girl, Melly. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. I haven't been here in a while. You haven't? I haven't seen you in a while. That's sad. Where have you been? Out gallivanting around America? Have you been traipsing across the mountainside in Colorado, climbing mountains, looking for gold? Maybe that's what you've been up to. All right. Hey, Melly, good to see you. Thanks for being on here on the channel. I don't think I've seen your name here before, but thanks for being here. All right. Let's see. What other comments have I missed? Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. It's very, very generous of you. Gayla said, I've seen people on YouTube saying it's a life hack in a hotel room. What is a life hack in a hotel room? Ugh. Even coffee machines, after seeing people wash their underwear in it. In a hotel room, they use a coffee machine to wash underwear. Let's not be washing underwear in hotel room coffee machines or kettles or... We have laundry facilities, people. We can take you to a laundromat. We don't need you to be trying to wash your underwear in a kettle in a hotel room. That is foul. There's not really people that do that, right? No way. Hold on. People... Reports indicate Some hotel guests use in-room kettles to wash underwear and socks. Ugh, yuck. That is gross. Don't be using no kettles in the hotel rooms. Oh, yuck. They're saying here certain bacteria such as Clostridium botulinum, which is botulism, can survive being boiled in a kettle. Yuck. They say besides washing underwear, kettles have been reported to be used for cooking, including boiling food. What is wrong with civilization? Please don't be doing that. That is so gross. Don't be washing socks and underwear in a freaking kettle in the hotel room. That is foul. Don't be doing that. We have laundromats. We have specific places where we can sanitize your clothes, not in a kettle. I'm just buying coffee from the cafe down the road and hope that people haven't broken into the cafe overnight and washed their underwear in it. What is wrong with people? New fear unlock for everyone. That's right. Don't be getting no hotel room coffee anymore. Ugh. By the way, this came up. It's a very old story, but I can't remember if we talked to you about this one. I think we did it years ago. It came up when I was looking for that other story, and it says woman murdered by obsessed neighbor who bit off parts of her face, sexually assaulted her, beat her to death in her own home, is named as killer, is jailed for life. And his name is Rawdon Ibbotson. He's 32, subjected Jennifer Andrews to the most appalling ordeal. He inflicted 90 wounds, including bites, on her body before committing sex abuse and killing her. We brought you this one years ago. It somehow popped up when I was looking for that one out of Switzerland. But we brought you, this was the victim here. And her neighbor was obsessed with her. Hey, that one girl, Melly. I covered Evil Kouri too. I'm new here. Thank you for the welcome. Thank you. We covered it in the first half of the show, so I'm sorry. I feel bad every time someone comes in late for the day, but we covered it in the first half of the show. But I agree with you. She's very evil, and I hope she enjoys her lifetime in jail. Reach out to me. Reach out to me. Reach out to me sundaywithping@gmail.com if you have anything you want to talk about creator wise. Let me know. All right, let's continue. Yeah, this girl, very sad, right? The one you have on your screen right now. It was a story we brought you, I think, back in 2023. Yes, it was. It was 2023, in June of 2023. What country was this? By the way, this was the dork who did that to her. This is him right here. This is Rawdon Ibbotson, and he did that to her. What country was this? I reckon it's the UK. Was it the UK? It was. It was in the UK. It was in Leeds Crown Court in the UK. So yeah, very nasty guy. And it says here, in her autopsy, there were 13 bite marks on her face, breasts, abdomen, back, forearms, and thigh, and a fractured rib, bleeding around her heart, bleeding in her stomach, and internal injuries. Ibbotson admitted her murder and assault by penetration at an earlier hearing and was jailed. He had previously been diagnosed with mixed personality disorder, made worse by his use of alcohol and drugs. According to the judge, Tom Bayless, KC, described his actions as demonstrating unspeakable cruelty, and he said, "This level of sustained violence and the nature and extent of the injuries inflicted upon your victim drive the conclusion that even if you may not have had such intention when the assault began, you may have formed an intention to kill as the assault progressed." So basically, he's saying while it may not have been premeditated at the time, it became a premeditation during the act. Let me see if there's anything we can find about him from the UK. Um, I keep getting really weird results this week, and they won't let me get results out of Australia. It's really weird. I keep getting like trapped in Australian search results, and that's only a recent thing. It's only been happening like in the last week or two. So apparently, Google has changed something. Not, it just won't give it to me. Fine. All right, we'll do it this way. Yeah, so I don't know why or what YouTube has changed. Or maybe there's just not a lot of people who covered it. Maybe not many people covered this murder out of Leeds at the time. Yeah, I'm going to say there wasn't a lot of coverage at the time out of Leeds. Try DuckDuckGo. We could try that. Let's see. Gayla said, I can't keep saying what is wrong with people. I feel like that we should just call the channel What is Wrong with People? That'd be great. Let's see. I'm glad you caught up. I'm glad you caught up. All right, let's see. Let's see. I don't have too much more about him. There wasn't widespread reporting about Rawdon Ibbotson at the time, but the fact that he had this mixed personality disorder, they're saying here, Jennifer had told neighbors at the time that she had been bombarded with text messages that Ibbotson had wanted a relationship with her. She confided in friends, telling them that she was frightened of her neighbor and said to one that she was living in a nightmare. He had previously threatened to pull her teeth out with pliers and warned her to sleep with one eye open. Her body was discovered shortly before midnight of June 6 in 2022 and was virtually unrecognizable because of the brutality that was inflicted upon her. She was rushed to hospital but was pronounced dead at 12:45 a.m. They say that she died from multiple blunt force trauma, extensive abrasions to her neck, head, and body, a fractured jaw, bruising to her head with a bleed on the brain, and that there were 13 bite marks around her body. This guy deserves life in jail. He will never get out of prison. This guy will never be able to get out of prison. He'll never be able to hurt a woman ever again. And that's it. He'll never be able to get out of jail. Thank the court that this absolute crazy person. Can you imagine her life before she actually was killed? The fact that he constantly harassed her sexually and otherwise, and she had to tell friends that she felt like she was living a nightmare. I mean, for a woman to reach out to a friend and say that, imagine what it was actually like in real life. And that, yeah, apparently they're saying he became fixated on her after she had moved into the apartment block. Let me see if there's any other information. No other information, just that he's in jail and he ain't ever getting out. So thank the friggin' world for that. Well, this was in West Yorkshire in the UK. Let's see. I really wish there was more video footage or something, but none on that one. None on that one. Hey, Hella, how are you? You're always on at like 4 o'clock. You must keep an alarm bell, and you're like, it's 4 o'clock. I should go on YouTube for a bit. Chipmunk said things don't surprise me anymore, but then another story does. That's what happens when you're on Nights with Ping. I bring you the craziest stories from around the world. We brought you one where a woman had fed mushrooms to her family and killed them. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy, right? All right. let's get out of here. We're just about done for the day. All right, let me check my phone because I feel like I'm forgetting people. Okay. Okay. Hey, I want to thank my friend. I want to thank my friend Deborah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. And I want to thank myself. I'd like to thank myself for giving away 5 memberships because I'm just a great human being. There you go. No, that's okay. You guys enjoy them. Sean gifted one as well. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow, which is Friday. It's Friday down under in Australia, where I live in Victoria. It is Friday. I get to cheat at life and end up at Friday before you do. How does that feel? You guys still got to get through Thursday, but I'll be on my weekend tomorrow afternoon. I'll see you then. Oh, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to the TikTok, please do so. We're looking at uploading short clips, like little replay clips, and possibly like shortened down versions of the live show, where it takes out a lot of my sort of umming and ahhing and stuff like that. Makes it a little more cleaner. So subscribe to the TikTok if you want that type of content from me. We only just opened it yesterday, so. Where did Sean go? He was here before. He was here before. I don't know. He may have gone to get a bird, a sandwich, a drink or something. But he was here before, see? He was around. You got off the phone with an American. Ah. Damn Americans. Well, I hope that went well. It's late at night in America. It's late at night. What time is it over there right now? It's got to be like midnight or something. All right. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. We are only like 300 and so subscribers from hitting that 2,000 mark. And I would love to get over that 2,000 number. That would be great. We've been sitting on like 1,900 something for so long. Please hit that subscribe button for me. I would appreciate it. In Arizona, it ain't that late. On the West Coast, yeah, it's like 3 hours behind. So like 11:30 or something. 11? Something like that for our West Coast people. 11:30 p.m. in Cali. I love my Cali people. Love my West Coast people. It's great. Ruby said it's 1:30 for her. Ah. It wasn't Dali. I was about to say, I thought Dali lived in Arizona. And I was like, oh, I was probably just talking to him. All right. Let's get out of here. Heller, I'll speak to you later, my friend. See you. See you then. Have a great night, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the live show this evening. We do it every night. We're here every single night. Melly said, I found you through Hella. Oh, hey, thanks, Hella. I appreciate it, my friend. Thanks for letting people know. She's a good person. I'm glad to have her help sometimes. She's really really kind like that. I'm very thankful. I'll see you then. Good night, everyone. Bye.